Now, the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities embarked on investigative hearings into the recent unrest in KwaZulu-Natal. The Commission said last month's unrest and resultant deaths led to facilitating mediation and conflict resolution among the affected communities. Now, for more on this, we are joined by the Chairperson of the CRL Rights Commission, Professor David Mosoma. Prof, good evening and thank you very much for your time tonight on In Focus. What has necessitated the intervention of the CRL Rights Commission in this particular matter?
I think it's a national common understanding about the issues that actually came up in this area, in this province, the unrest, the conflicts that took place. Because of the mandate arising from our Act, we are required to facilitate mediation or conflict resolution where communities, CRL communities, are in conflict. And this is why it is important for us to assist in the reconstruction or rebuilding of communities. In fact, this is our role. And hence we are here. The first phase was really what we call fact-finding mission or fact-finding endeavor to meet all the affected stakeholders across the board for us to give us an insight into what they consider to be the causes or sources of conflict. And we've had a number of groupings that appeared before us since yesterday and today. And we have learned quite a lot about what they consider to be the causes. We met with women's group, the black community members of Phoenix, the Indian community members of Phoenix, Sanko, and many other myriad stakeholders. And then we feel that it's important to sit back, analyze this, because we believe it would be prudent for us to intervene once we understand what is the nature and the causes that gave rise to the conflict. Yeah. Because unless we understand that, any form of conflict that does not take into account this material condition, it will simply be papering over the cracks. Right. So to avoid that, it is important to understand from people who are affected what it is that has given rise to this. Yeah. We are going to be analyzing it, and the agency is that we need to do this as a matter of agency. Yeah. Yeah. That is the first phase of getting information. The second phase is where we bring together all the stakeholders to begin to probe, to find a way, having identified these issues, to prioritize which issues, once identified and solved, will bring about lasting solution in the community. Yeah. This will be through the facilitation of the CRL. We are not imposing a solution. Yeah. The solution must arise.
I think, Chairperson, that's very important to clear that the solution is not going to come from you. Your intervention is really at the level of facilitation. But I want to take you just a little bit back to that first phase and the submissions that you are hearing, and I'm sure you're going to continue to engage further with the stakeholders and do your own analysis. But there is a sense that the conflict is not necessarily only born out of the looting and the unrest that we have seen last month, but there are legacy issues, there are historical issues within those communities that bring about this conflict. Is that the sense that you got from the submissions?
Indeed. There is the conflict of 1949. There's a conflict of 1985. There's a conflict of 1993, and then to date, a conflict of 2021. So you can see the historicity of the problem, that until you understand the conflict of 1949 anything that you do today without addressing that, because we're told that nothing happened since then. These conflicts kept on recurring without any form of intervention. And therefore, we need to take those into account. I tell you, it's a very difficult act.
Yeah.
But it is important that in the best interest of building a future in which all of us belong in South Africa, this is the best way to go.
Yeah.
And we're already told that a number of visits have come. People have turned this place into a tech shop. And we say, listen, our role is to build communities. And we're going to do that with you. And you will be leading in determining the nature of peace you want.
Now, there's a sense from some political parties that, no, this is a populist position by some who want to create some kind of havoc in these communities. I mean, they seem to think that communities there are living very fine. They go to shops together. They are working side by side, and there is no such tension that is existing in those communities. Now, of course, you mentioned the reconstruction and the building and the normalization. That would be the ultimate goal. The immediate goal is to stabilize the situation. What are your suggestions and what are your recommendations at this point? Because that is an urgent and almost immediate thing that needs to happen. Even though we are seeing people maybe still going to shops together, of course, there are these underlying issues that have not been dealt with.
Well, we have had different positions of people. There were people who said, well, there's no problem. We stay together. We have neighborliness. But within the same vein, we were told all is not well. Don't be fooled by what we consider to be a day-to-day. There are deeper issues, the legal issues, as you've mentioned. And I think our first priority as a matter of agency is that we have to come back and we have to constitute that quick meeting where parties, all of them, because we're told that in some instances there are meetings which exclude one party. One group meets and they talk their own story, but the other group is not hearing what the other group is saying. And the first very important intervention is the ability to bring the parties together, the affected parties together, to begin a conversation in which each party listens to the other, not just talking over each other, but there must be that kind of intervention. And we see that as a matter of agency. We have been told this is very urgent as of yesterday.
Chairperson, we are wishing you well in your intervention and your endeavor, and I look forward to hearing your analysis of the submissions at a later stage, and of course to be watching very closely at the level of intervention what solutions are going to come out from those communities. But let's thank you tonight for joining us here on In Focus.